Hello, my name is Gio, and I am back with Helen, and this is part 2 of our next marketing video series. In our first series, we talked about the importance of data, and now I want to dive deeper into what a chief digital officer is. And you state, Helen, that every officer is going to eventually become a chief digital officer. But why is that? What does that mean?
Yeah, I think we coined that because we wanted to really highlight how tremendous and big this change is. The digital life around us is omnipresent. It's not something we can do 5% of the mix or 5% every now and then. It comes with our job. Being present digital when you work for EMC, I think actually comes with a job. And when I'm out there speaking to the field and we talk about how we get more scale and how we get our word out there, it goes beyond the marketing organization. We work a lot with the pre-sales organization, with the sales organization, etc., to have these chief digital officers being very present for us. And I think it's so driven by so many of the trends that we actually work with. If you think about bring your own device, it would have been impossible to even think a few years ago. Today, it's the most natural thing in the world. And once you bring your own device, then you do everything digital. So few people would say, oh, I'll wait with that until the evening. You do it when you're on the go, on the run the whole time. And that's why I think a chief digital officer is what we actually all are. At the same time, I have to say that personally, I struggle with the terminology digital. Because I feel like, and I've said this many times, I feel like you say a digital camera. Nobody says digital camera any longer because it's a camera. Right. Of course it's digital. And I actually think communication and marketing is exactly the same thing. It's almost, of course it's digital. How else would you communicate and do marketing in the 21st century? Right. So at the same time, I think it's a shift, so we need to highlight it. At the same time, it has to become center of everything we do. And we have started to coin the phrase, the digital heartbeat, because that's how we have to center everything we do. And it just becomes the heartbeat of what we do.
Now, what if we don't digitize? What are the consequences if a company out there or if parts of EMC don't digitize and they decide to push that off?
I think it can be a very short conversation, to be honest. I don't think there is much future. I don't think it's a choice. I really don't think it's a choice because everything is happening in that life. And that's why I mean that the terminology will eventually go away because there is no other option. And of course, you then add on and you dial up with other offline experiences and communications. And of course, once you get to the point that we want to have salespeople engaging with them, and then there's a one-to-one personal relationship, but that's combined with that digital life. So I think it has to be the heartbeat. I don't think there is a possibility to do anything else. Yeah,
it's definitely a good point. When we talk about digital, we also talk about IT, right? And we're an IT organization. How do you, as a marketer, see the impact of digital on the role of the IT department as well as marketing?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'm sure many of you are reading articles about this daily, about how the CIO and the CMO roles are really coming closer to each other. And I think there is, in a way, there is a fusion, which we would never have thought maybe 10 years ago or 5 years ago. And I'm sure we can look at our own situation where we have marketing budgets going into actually buying IT, because without that we cannot do our jobs. And so I think the CIO and the CMO in many organizations will become very, very close. Sometimes they even talk about it's one and the same job depending on what industry and what organization. But having that handshake on what systems, how do you deal with data, what do you need, what does the evolution need, what new tools are needed, when do they need to come, how do they interact in the company, how does that get rolled out? Extremely, extremely critical to be successful.
Right. And we're seeing that every day here at EMC.
Absolutely.
EMC marketing is not rolling up, but becoming more tightly interlocked with the IT department.
Yeah, which is the right way to go.
So how do you realize this route to digitalization?
I think as almost everything you want to change, it's always a change project. It's always a journey, as we say, when we change things, and it is. And I think having people in the organization on board and having advocates it's a really big thing. When you speak specifically about the IT and the marketing fusion, or whatever we want to call it, I think there are different portions of that. There's definitely the data management that we talked about already in the other series, having that access to data, analyzing it and all of that. There's a portion of automation that is necessary because it's not going to be done by hand, so that's another phase of it. And one of them, maybe the most important one in the eyes of our customers sometimes, it's the content management. Providing the right content at the right time without a really strong content strategy, something that is really relevant to our customers, there is no digital life either, because then you have nothing to say basically, which is not in a good place to be.
Right. You need to know what to say, when to say, and who to say it to at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this sounds like a complex challenge. And you've elaborated to how we are taking charge and lead for this efforts, but how do you see EMC moving forward with this digital realm, if you will?
It is in a way complex. I think maybe it's an oxymoron. It's complex, and at the same time, it's you can simplify it because you can say there is no choice. We have to do it, and I think EMC has done tremendously well in staking out and driving innovation from marketing, from all of Jeremy Burton's organization, driving innovation, doing apps, content, portals, etc. That is really taking us forward on this journey. So I think it's continuing that journey. I think it's galvanizing ourselves to support such an approach and even drive it. And I think EMC, better than many organizations, are actually ready to drive that. And one of the things I would, though, highlight also in that is to really be open and take in all those inspirations from the various places of markets. Because a lot of things are being tried and tested out there, and we can pilot a lot of things. And I think that's very, very important to have that open mind, because the world is changing and moving very, very quickly. So I'm very excited about that. I think it's a great opportunity we have as a company, as an organization, and to your earlier point, staying as it is, it's just not an option, right? So moving forward is our great option here.
Thank you, Helene. And at this point, I would like to conclude this video series, and I would like to, as a call to action, have everyone embrace their inner Chief Digital Officer within your local teams, inspire others, and don't be afraid to go digital in EMC marketing. Thank you.
Thank you, Gio.